Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Aegis Defenders League, a play-in gauntlet getting started here with two of our top seeds, Team Ambition Prime and Wash Players United. Team Ambition going to be taking on the blue side, Wash Players United on the red. My name is Gordo. I am joined tonight by Gigatron. And Gigatron, I am ready to get this play-ins gauntlet started.
Yeah, I mean, both really good teams, top of the board here, basically. So, would love to see how they both fare in this matchup. I mean, both have really good ADCs, both have really good mid laners. We basically have washed up players being for Team Auburn and a friend versus the good old TAP coming out from Team Admission. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how this matchup goes. I mean, Zeri bans right away, as I kind of expected, with an Akshan as well. And Gwen, jeez. Well, Gwen's Gwen, I guess.
Yeah, for sure here. And, little changes here from the Playins format last year. Up at the top of the board, though, doesn't change too much. Our top seeds going to be facing off each other here in week number 1. The winners of those matchups will face off next week to determine who's going to be the absolute seed number 1 and the absolute seed number 2. But all of the teams involved in this portion of the Playins Gauntlet have already locked in their playoff spots. Win or lose, they will be playing in that bracket stage. They're just determining where exactly they're going to go. The loser of this series will play against the winner of the third, fourth match to determine if they can lock in a second seed or if they're going to be dropping even farther down in the bracket there. Regardless, though, this is going to be a banger matchup, very likely going to be a preview of what could potentially be a later on match in the bracket stage in a best of 5. We'll tonight get to see a little preview of that in a best of 3 and a cool little Ionia versus Freljord power comparison here as we watch top teams from both groups take to the Rift. The Kayn, the most interesting lock-in I see in here so far, that's going to be going into the jungle for bad, presumably, and he is really going to be feeling comfortable and confident on that hard carry pick. He's played it once so far this season and feels comfortable taking it out here again in this all-important matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good pick, personally. Again, he does what he does on it, and it's just crazy. I mean, it's very comfort for him, and going into Hecarim, I think it'll do perfectly fine. You have to look at, like, the bot lane is what I'm kind of more worried about, where we have a Nala's Jen who can definitely layer CC very well into the Jinx and the Karma, who really is just reliant on that speed boost coming out from the shield, as well as the traps to hopefully kind of just lock people down. So I like what TA's trying to put out, but washed players here, they're coming out pretty strong with a good team.
Yeah, no, they're coming in as the higher seed here. They are the ones who ended up topping their group at 6-1 as their total record. Team Ambition Prime had to settle for second. They finished 5-2. So, depending on what your beliefs are on which group ended up being the stronger group at the end of the day, might influence your perceptions of these teams and who you consider to be the very best team in the league. Maybe it's Wash Players United, based on how dominant their performance was over in that Ionia group. Or maybe you think, if you think Moners over in the Freljord group is one of the better teams in the league, then you expect Team Ambition Prime to have to settle for that second place, and maybe they are better even than Wash Players United as well. That's what gets pushed to the test here in our first matchup of the Gauntlet. Gangplank going to be the blind top laner locked in here for WPU. They are already banning to defend it a little bit with that Aatrox selection, and now it's going to be on Reformed top to try to find a way to answer this pirate.
I think that's a very good answer, though. I was going with the Tryndamere. Tryndamere obviously has been really good this split so far. Has been able to split very well, can usually contend with a lot of top laners right now, make them cry a little bit, and yeah, he's just a very good, I think, lock-in for Team Ambition Prime here. With a Seraphine follow-up, I think that's going to be really interesting because it's probably Seraphine mid going into whatever Wash player is going to bring up here. And yeah, this is, I feel like this is good CC layering that they have. They're able to still strike pretty well and do a lot of damage. And that's like Galio. Oh my.
Yeah, looking at the Gallios, the potential answer to the Seraphine here gets you a little bit of global pressure. Start influencing those side lanes. Try to protect your gangplank up against this Tryndamere earlier on. Try to get your Jhin Nautilus lane ahead as well, knowing that you're going to be facing off against that Enchanter in the early game. You might end up pushed a little bit under turret. You can try to find some opportunities to pair up with that Hecarim and make plays happen in those side lanes. So, you're going to really be facing off against a pretty heavy AD-focused comp brought out by Team Ambition Prime. They got the Kayn, the Tryndamere, and the Jinx. Those are the damage dealers. And then they just got double Enchanters. The Seraphine, probably going to be building full AP, probably going to be bringing some magic damage to the table, but certainly not going to be on the par of a true mage. That's true over on the side of WPU as well, though. They're bringing the Galio into the mid lane. He's also probably going to build AP. He's also not going to be a real kind of mage in the AP carry sense. They're going to be reliant on this Jhin. They're going to be reliant on this Gangplank to bring out the damage later on. So definitely going to be interesting comps coming through from both sides. And going to be an interesting side lane game as well with this Tryndamere and this Gangplank facing off against one another.
Yeah, I mean, Tryndamere and Gangplank, I think that's the most exciting matchup I'm wanting to watch, is both these top laners who perform very well in both of the respective teams. And yeah, this is just one of those ones that I've been waiting to see this matchup for a while, in both here and the other leagues like we work in. So I'm excited for this. I agree that, yeah, both these are basically playing in AD is really what it is. Like, yeah, the Gangplank and the Jhin there. Galio really isn't going to do too much. He's just kind of the extra tank needed, as well as same thing with Nautilus there. So, and like you said, on the other side, it's just two Enchanters kind of helping them out. So I think, again, it's really just going to play down to the fact of who's going to command this game and early, because if they don't, it's going to be one-sided, and at this point, it could be one-sided towards Wash players.
Yeah, for sure here. And worth noting, there is going to be a little roster change here for Team Ambition Prime. They are going to be running Shaminian, their designated starter in the bottom lane, over Buckwheat, who played most of the season with them. I think it was 12 games total or something. It was Buckwheat in that bottom lane. The remaining 4 that they played had PVS down in that role, and a different mid laner. So going to be a different look than we've seen out of Team Ambition Prime for most of the season thus far. But, at least if the roster document is anything to go off of, this is kind of their intended starting 5. And Buckwheat, listed as a reserve player, has only really been coming in to sub in, and without having access to Shaminian for whatever reason. So I'm going to be interested in seeing this rendition of Team Ambition Prime, because this group of 5 has not played for TA this whole season.
Exactly. I'm really excited for that too, just because, hey, it's a fresh player. I mean, we know most of the others have played together. The fact that PVS is swapping roles because he has that kit where he can do that, because he does play both those ADCs and AP casters as well. So that's going to be really nice to see him finally in his new role here. So after this, I don't know, man, who you siding? I hate saying it. Team Ambition, but I think I'm siding with Watch players right now.
Yeah, I really like that the draft that they've gone for here. I like Gangplank a lot in the current meta. I feel like he's positioned well against some of these picks like the Tryndamere. Can really harass early on, can eventually scale up to be strong enough to tussle. But and I like Galio as well. I like the ability to pair up with Hecarim to influence the side lanes to get those important ganks off. So as long as they don't give up too much to the Kayn, as long as they don't let Kayn snowball away with the game and be really difficult to deal with later on, I think WPU are well set up to be able to be flexible about how they want to approach this game and to be able to secure themselves a victory, at least in game number 1. But we're going to have to get onto the Rift to find out here. We're going to throw it to a quick break while we get loaded on in, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back as Team Ambition Prime takes on Wash Players United for the first time this season. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the Aegis Defenders League, where we are starting off our play-in gauntlet, the match between two of the top teams, Team Ambition Prime coming in as seed number 2, and Washed Players United coming in as seed number 1. Excited to watch the two groups face off for the first time, and it looks like Alex looking to maybe get things started early on here. Goes aggressively on the Galio, but PBS is going to be safely far enough away, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be safe. Good idea to use the Predator there, but it's unfortunate. You're not going to catch anyone out. So, nice idea by Alex R there, but feels a little shortcoming there, unfortunately.
A good effort. It's not a summoner or a summoner, not a keystone that you really want to use too much in lane anyway, so certainly something you're going to be willing to expend the cooldown on early. Will be back up by the time you really want to use it. A good attempt doesn't end up paying off in any real meaningful sense. You know, they get that ward in the Tribe Rush. They will see when Shaminian and Respirit actually start entering into that bottom lane and getting ready to participate, but they're going to leash like normal on the red buff here. They're not going to try anything fancy. You can see Nips hanging out in that bottom river, waiting to see if they do come the aggressive way. If they were to, they would punish them. But Shaminian and Respirit, they know a little better than that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would hope that they wouldn't, fall to the easy trap of that there. And looks like they're going to get hooked.
Yeah, big hook there from Nips. Going to get some nice trade damage in onto Respirit. Fourth shot goes into Shaminian. The Jhin and Nautilus lane has a chance to be a little bit aggressive here, especially if they can get themselves to that level 2 power spike first. But looks like Respirit has a little bit of AoE damage there with the Karma, going to be doing just fine. Alex gets a trade in the mid lane, and Justice punches his way out. Going for the standard Galio combo. Doesn't want to actually land the punch until he thinks he can actually get a kill with it. Otherwise, he's going to be up a little bit too far. Reform top and Jokic trading in the top lane. Jokic going to have those oranges eventually, but as of now, doesn't have access to them. Instead, just going to keep trying to get grasp procs. Going to keep firing the pistol over into Reform top. You're going to be trying to utilize that range advantage that he has to take a lead over this Tryndamere.
Exactly. Hakram's waiting in the wings, too.
Ghost Pop trying to get an engage on a Reform top here early. He will at least proc the phase rush, but doesn't seem to have the damage quite yet. Jokic doesn't want to commit the flash. Gonna get the Ghost out of Reformed top, so will be a Ghost for Ghost trade. Otherwise, though, going to be walking out just fine. Nips gets another hook there onto Respirit. Does a fair bit of damage. Paragon trying to close the gap, trying to get some more damage in there. Gets stalled by those Flame Chompers, though. Both parties back on away. Respirit a little lower on HP and down the flash, but otherwise just fine.
Exactly. I mean, you burn through some top between the top tank there. I think that's all right. Like, goes for ghost, and you're not losing much down here on the bot side. Only down like 5 CS. I think that's fine. They're just playing it safe, trying to figure out what's going to be the best move, and Bad's going in.
Yeah, Bad coming in for a play here onto Jokic. Going to be forced to use the flash to avoid the spin there. Will be able to get on out of there, but is going to be down that crucial summoner spell now and has to play a little bit safer, especially facing off against Reform top, who does still have that flash. He will try to keep the plays going. We're going to enter a little bit of a pause here. I Love Nuggets going to DC, and he's already right back, so not even going to have to cut to cams here.
No, not at all. Now, sometimes that internet is just a little jank. I know it's been lately for some of my friends over on the East Coast, and it's been real weird trying to play with them. But now it's pretty nice, over here. We don't have any problems. I don't know if you've been having problems lately, but I haven't had any problems over here.
No, my internet's been just fine. We're getting a little extended pause in client, though. It was longer than the pause in game, it felt like, but we do get back on into it. Jokic has the level advantage despite having the flash disadvantage, so as long as they can do a good job of tracking Bad, he'll be feeling just fine here. As a CS lead actually starting to get pretty large, both in the jungle and in this bottom lane. Paragon has gotten a lot more minions here. I Love Nuggets going to get 2 camps for 1 there, and is going to catch back up to the Kayn as a result.
Exactly. I mean, hey, you know what? The Kayn's difference is not going to be much here. You have, still that lead you've been having on Jhin here with Paragon, and Paragon's, oh my.
All right, we're back. we're back in the pause, everybody. No problem there. We will get back into things as soon as we are able to. But it gives us a little bit more time to talk about how this early game has played out so far. Nobody's gotten anything too successfully off, and prior to anybody ticking over to level 6, that doesn't favor anyone too heavily. I'm gonna really start looking for bad though, in the next 10-ish minutes to try to find a way to get some at least damage in there. Start stacking up those orbs and start working out to get to the point where he's actually able to upgrade that into either the red cane or the blue cane. Probably going to be the red cane for this setup. The sooner he can get to that, the stronger he's going to be. He's kind of only half a champion until he actually gets there. So I'm going to be looking at bad to see how he can try to accelerate that pace a little bit better.
Exactly. I mean, and his thing is, how are you to do that? Like, you're getting spot out by these different ganks here. You do have to go for more of those melees too. So the priority then is, I mean, obviously you can go to any lane then, because, well, I should say, yeah, you can go to any lane because you have Gangplank top, that's a melee. You got melee mid here with Galio. You have a melee that you can go after with the Nautilus there. So between that, I mean, those are the ones that should be able to really kind of help him out. And if he can just capitalize on just targeting which lane he thinks is going to be the easiest, which I would say is either this bot side or this top side here, because obviously he's already got the flash right now burned on him. And yeah, it'd be really good for him to capitalize. It's just with the way the pace of the game has been feeling, I feel like a little slower, not quite spiking up like a normal game likes to. Usually they like to come online around like 8 minutes, hopefully. With their orbs, they've been usually pushing people pretty hard and just trying to get going. But we'll see how that goes here with this long extended timer.
Yeah, it's going to reset the momentum at the very least, and the bottom lane's been somewhere we've been looking a lot as well. Nips has been landing a lot of these dredge lines. Onto Respirit in particular, he's been forced to blow the flash here. Shaminian does still have the heal to back him up a little bit, but the Chain CC with this Jhin Nautilus combo can be really strong. The burst damage can be really high, especially once you start getting some levels there into this Jhin. You start making the Dancing Grenade just a little bit stronger. I'm going to be curious to see if they can turn things in their favor a little bit more heavily in the bottom lane. They've found great engages thus far here. They've gotten control over the waves. They've got themselves a nice little CS lead as well. You can see from where, well, I can see, we're on cams on the actual stream, but if we're looking at the bottom lane right now, it's a 3 CS lead for Paragon, but he's got a lot more minions left to clean up in this bottom lane. I think the true CS lead is closer, somewhere in the 6 to 9 range, and he could look to build that up even higher if they can keep getting these good trades off.
I think he can too. I mean, he started out early. He's definitely keeping the pace up, and even with, like you talked about, the pace might slow down that a little bit even more with the pause. He's still farming very efficiently, especially for Jhin there. So, but other than that, yeah, I mean, we have to look at, like, you still have a good lead on top side, almost 10 CS there, which, again, going into Gangplank, who can still poke you pretty well from afar, is able to, unfortunately, get ahead here for the Tryndamere. So, unfortunately, I don't know. I don't want to sound biased. I don't want to sound like TA like pays my pocket or something. So, but
you're not under the TA payroll, Gigatron. As I see an unpause request.
I suppose under Wash's payroll, and I blinked 3 times. So
Very good, very good. I see that unpause timer ticking on down. Play will resume in 0 seconds. This is a very long 0 seconds, at least on my end. But I do think we'll be getting back into the gameplay here very, very shortly. As, eye's going to be on what lane ends up turning things. I think WPU, they're ahead in the bottom lane. TA Prime, they're up in the top lane. They've got that flash advantage up against Jokic. Will Reformed Top be able to capitalize? Will Bad be able to get into that lane to start spinning things around in his Tryndamere's favor? No pun intended there on the Tryndamere and the Kayn. They do a bit of spinning around.
True. A lot of good amount of spinning. You do have a lot of bunch of crash down too between the Galio and the Nautilus, but looking for Fort top.
All right, going all in here up against Jokic. Jokic does get the oranges, though. It does make things okay. It makes it more than okay as he gets himself 400 gold there off the first blood. And now the engage going through the bottom lane. They feel like they've got Respirit locked on down, so they go for the dredge line onto Shaminian. He's going to be forced to flash here to try to stay alive. Paragon matches it, chases him down, gets the fourth shot. 3-0 on the board for Washed Players United right away.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the 3-0 is really helping them. They're getting more of that lead that they want to have here on this bot side, playing through Nips and Paragon. It sets up for them to get an easy Drake here for this Ocean Drake, but yeah, just really good job by there. I thought Reform might have had it, honestly, before Jokic got that kill there, but unfortunately they're going to have to respect the parlay as well as the barrel mechanics. Barrels just do way too much damage, and I think he overestimated himself there.
Yeah, absolutely did. And going to be, Jokic using those oranges. They heal more as you're on lower HP there. Something Reform Top very familiar with, as he's looking to spam those heals on the Tryndamere as well. But Gangplank heal, especially at low HP, just a little bit stronger, gets him enough HP, doesn't even have to sacrifice some of his stats to be able to do it, and ends up coming out on top in that all-in. I'm sure the Grasp of the Undying ended up helping out there a little bit as well. And as a result, Jokic, he's 10 CS down, but with that first blood gold, he's certainly going to be in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, definitely going to help him out that little bit more. And that's where you have to realize, okay, now he's already got the Sheen. He's got, boots and a longsword. He's got some pretty good damage right there, just compared to just the pickaxe and the boots coming out from Reform. So, I think, honestly, Reform could have just went and fully grabbed boots and might have been in a little bit better position, but it looks like there's gonna be an engage on the PBS right now from Alex.
Nice trade from Alex there. He can step up pretty far and try to get these full damage combos up against the Seraphine. Seraphine not going to be too high damage, so as long as he's confident that the Kayn isn't waiting around to punish him, he's willing to take these trades, especially with the additional MR he has when his shield is up there. Now, going to be Jokic, utilizing his newfound Sheen, the little gold lead that he's got for himself, to really try to bully here on a Reform Top. You can see the item advantage there in the inventories paying off nicely. So they're looking to crash in these minions and get himself a recall, spend even more of that gold. So far, bad. Not able to make anything happen. Nuggets, with a very successful gank in the bottom lane, is going to be on the board there, going to have his boots 2 already completed, as well as that tier, and going to be feeling even stronger as he continues to farm on up.
I have to acknowledge a little bunch of LCS is he wants a new pair of Skechers. He said Papa needs a new pair of Skechers. Isn't it they need a new pair of New Balances than Skechers, honestly? Isn't that what we need? But anyways,
shoe opinions aren't that strong, Gigatron, but I mean, they'll take any shoes that they can get here, though. They've started to fall a little bit behind at WPU, and, they really want to probably start getting those boot upgrades on sooner rather than later. Shaminion's got no shoes at all, and has to be worried about avoiding these dredge lines. That's going to be a big knockup coming in through in the mid lane. PVS just gets one shot by the Galio plus Hecarim damage, and now bad. Maybe up a little bit too far here. He's up a level, but he's in a 1 versus 2. Nuggets now just going to wait as there goes the Galio ultimate. Going to come on through, not going to land on anybody, but they got enough damage anyway. Nuggets finishes off that kill onto bad, and it's another 2 for 0 for WPU in the mid lane.
We're not done yet.
Okay, we are not done yet. Spirit, I expected to see him get out of there eventually with the summoner spells, but it just doesn't make a difference. He's going to end up going on down to Paragon anyway. Curtain Call dealing so much damage there, and another hook under the turret coming through from Nips as they get a double kill for Paragon in the bottom lane, and across the map, it's WPU coming out on top.
Yeah, Paragon just performing very well with the Jhin. He has one of those good supports that he can line up and get really good DC there with, just so that way he can use that Deadly Flourish, be able to, again, just pop off those 4 shots like he was able to, and he's just trading so much there that people don't realize, this is a really deadly combo of a duo right here, and 2, he's been performing very well at EDC this season. Top pretty much stats right there, but DBS.
Now it's going to be Jokic in a 1 versus 2 here, willing to take it as he gets the cannon barrage on top of himself. Does get charmed, flashes away, doesn't make a difference as the charm goes through anyway. Will end up going on down there to reform top. Couldn't eat the oranges, couldn't get himself out, but now gank in the bottom lane coming through from Nuggets. He's bringing Nips along with him as well. Shaminian a little bit too far up, going to end up going on down here. Killing spree goes to the Hecarim. Dredgeline doesn't land. The remainder will manage to escape. So 1-for-1 across the map, but Team Ambition Prime, they do get themselves on the board up there in that top lane.
Yeah, and I feel like part of it is, at this point, you might have to start playing through Reform top, because, hey, you know what, if he can split very well, get a little bit of a lead coming back to himself, he can put himself in the game a little bit better here, but Bad's going to get an H on.
Yeah, Bad gonna get dove here, goes for the Umbral Trespass to try to stay alive. It actually will successfully get himself out of there. Respirit survives as well. They split the damage. They couldn't finish off Kane as he was hiding inside Nuggets, and they will be able to get out of there as a result. Still getting some of those turret plates, still forcing the cooldowns out for basically nothing from the side of TA Prime. Still going to be able to transition this into the Dragon, knowing that Kane has all these resources down, but no more kills.
Yeah, no more kills. Again, unfortunately, you're losing a little bit more objectives, but we won't see a Hextech Soul. We are going to actually see a Infernal Soul, which, again, both teams could excel very well with, but this is one that even if TA gets it here, TA would be doing very well with it.
Definitely could. Is going to be 2-0 in favor of WPU. So they're Hex Splashing over the wall, looking on to PVS. They decide the minion wave's a little bit too small. They get them cleared away easily by one more beat drop, and will end up backing on away. Just putting a little bit of fear into PVS, especially if those Winds of War continue to chunk him out lower and lower. Jokic getting engaged on once again, trying to take that path back to his turret, but the burst damage is just a little bit too high. Bad gets his name on the kill, but it's Reformed Top who ends up claiming it. 2-1 now on the Tryndamere. Going to be a major source of hope for Team Ambition Prime. If they want to get back into this game, they're going to want to utilize this Tryndamere.
Exactly. And that's where, hey, you know what, if he can split, a lot of damage going out for himself, it'll really help him out on his team here. But Nuggets coming in.
Nuggets trying to get on to Reformed Top here, is going to get the charge on through. Alex has arrived. Undying Rage is available if Reformed Top can buy himself a little bit of time. Dodges, wait for the Justice Punch, and that will be enough to be able to disengage. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Nips taking a big chunk of damage there from that Mantra Q, but otherwise feeling all right, as no more plays made across the map as a result. Nuggets really trying to shut down this Tryndamere, knows that that's the real last hope for the side of Team Ambition Prime. Their bot lane has fallen so far behind. Their mid lane not really in a position to solo carry, as it's the Seraphine. It's really all about this Tryndamere, and if they can stop him, then they are in the clear to carry through this game number 1.
Exactly. Hey, you know what, if they're able to just keep playing, I think, through bot, like bot's definitely going to be the real icing on the cake here. 3-0-2 on this gen with the Gale Force already, compared to just the Noon Quiver and Pickaxe coming out from Shaminian. Yeah, this is definitely showing why, hey, he knows how to officially play his champion. He's working great with his duo here, and unfortunately, as much as Bad's here, I don't know, might not go in their favor.
Yeah, and Kane is Red Kane now, by the way. He is in that Rost form, so he is more powerful. He is going to be coming out here in 13 minutes, even more powerful into ganks. That's going to be the depth charge coming on through here in this bottom lane. Respirit going to flash away as Alex rejoins the fight with that heroic entrance. Will end up finishing off onto Respirit. Now the Fear coming on through, trying to finish off onto Bad. He can't get the Umbral Trespass off. The CC is too long, and he will go down as a result. PVS lands the charm over the wall, but is just going to get engaged on and is now in a 2 versus 4 situation. Shaminian is there to run interference, but they've got to be very worried about this dive. I Love Nuggets going to get snared on up by those Flame Chompers, going to be met with that beat drop as well. But now here comes the engage to the side from Alex. Paragon goes on a rampage as they finish off Seraphine. They're going to finish off the bot lane turret while they're down here, and they're at it, and that's going to be 14 minutes, 11-2. Huge gold lead, 5K over to the side of Wash Players United. They continue to dominate the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, Jin's stat line does not exist right now, and yeah, I mean, it's just, he's just performing so good. I mean, you have the great support there from Nips. You have also really good engage by the follow-up of Alex R there. Alex R is just able to rotate very efficiently with the Predator, gets that extra amount of damage coming out too with it while it's charged up. And yeah, when he comes in with the heroic entrance, he's just able to just do so much for his team, and that's where they really need to start respecting that. Hey, you know what? He's gonna be able to get here faster than PBS, and need to worry about that.
Definitely do here is Reform Top getting engaged on once again here. Big taunt for Alex, not going to be able to land that Justice Punch though. Reform Top has the damage, goes on a killing spree as he finishes off on a Jokic, and now the cavalry is arriving. Meanwhile, fight breaking off into this bottom river. Knockups coming back and forth bad, trying to get forward onto Paragon. Knows this is going to be a big shutdown if he can get it. He goes for the Umbral Trespass, gets the bonus damage, but the Dredge Line is huge to pull him away. Not going to land the follow-up CC there from that Deadly Flourish, but now it's Alex coming in to rejoin the fight, trying to lock down bad, but Paragon left out to dry a little bit, gonna have to escape, and now here comes Nuggets coming in with the charge, going to knock back on in bad as they're trying to finish him on off. Finally, he will fall down to Alex. The curtain call has been opened up from under the mid lane turret, raining across the members of Team Ambition Prime, picking up 3 kills easily and turning it into 4. Will be I Love Nuggets falling down at the end of the day, but it's a 4-for-1, and it's Wash Players United continuing to win.
Yeah, he's just able to do so much here. Was able to, one, survive fairly easily just because of the fact that Nips was able to stick on bad there so Paragon doesn't fall, and then Paragon able just to kind of pepper away pretty easy with the 4 shots there, and then when the curtain call came out, felt like all she wrote just because of the fact that, hey, I'm getting this for free, you're not able to engage on me, and what are you going to do? Like, you're just going to keep taking these shots, so just really good job by them, and now they get to secure this 3rd Drake here.
Yeah, that's going to be soul point for them here at 6k gold in the lead. One more away from claiming that Infernal Soul will give them even more burst damage, and on the likes of the Jhin, that's got to feel really, really good. Coming into the bottom lane is Shaminian and Respirit. They're grouping up in mid, trying to see if they can get a turret out of the reset that's coming on across, but Alex is going to be there, and his Winds of War, they clear these waves so easily, and kind of just stop this play in its tracks. Everybody now just stuck waiting around mid lane awkwardly, not able to get anything started. They're going to migrate up towards top to try to turn this into a Rift Herald. Multiple members of Wash Players United are here as well.
Wow.
All right, is going to be a big steal coming on through there for Nuggets, and Nuggets now basically 1v5, launching himself in there just to give Alex a better ultimate, and he will use that ultimate to finish off on a Respirit bad, trying to sustain through the fight as Red Cane almost takes out Paragon, but isn't going to be able to do so. Nice flash from Nips to avoid those beat drops, avoid getting locked on down. Shaminian not going to get any further excited. It's a 2-for-2, but the steal is successful there for I Love Nuggets. Still, not really the fight you're looking for if you're Wash Players United, though. Your 6k gold in the lead, trading 2-for-2 is certainly not the goal.
No, it's not the goal, but they're still able to take away the Rift.
Oh my god, Paragon! Man doesn't miss. He gets the Summoner heal out, he lands the Deadly Flourish, he lands every shot of the curtain call, and he gets himself a free kill for it. Jokic, though, maybe up a little bit too far, taking a lot of damage from Reform Top. Going to try to flash away, but the extra spinning slash is coming on through. It is a 1-for-1 as the turret deals enough damage to take out Reform Top.
Yeah, unfortunately, he cannot burn a Dying Rage there, but yeah, it's just, like you said, he overstepped that a little bit there for Jokic, and like we were saying, oh my.
Oh, the lockdown coming in once again. Do not tempt Paragon with these kill shots, man. He keeps landing the Deadly Flourishes, keeps securing himself the kills, and has been able to play at just a knife's edge. Bad has nearly taken him out here in 2 fights in a row, and Paragon just managed to get himself just far enough away, uses the Summoners, uses the Gale Force, and keeps himself alive while his team is just rampaging through the backline.
Yeah, I mean, this is just where you have to realize, excuse me, Paragon's just so far ahead. Like, he is just landing everything he needs to. He is positioning himself in the best spots. He's getting so much for it without losing really anything for it. And yeah, it's just baffling almost. Like, look at him. He's like 2 full items, has the upgraded, he has the boots now as well too, and is just able to perform very well with it. The one thing I will mention is, even though they did steal the Rift Trail away, they don't have it.
through. They did not get it picked on up. They took the fight instead as Nips taking a bunch of damage here from Bad's all in. It gets the knock up there for the depth charge, trying to turn it into 1-for-1. Nips going to fall on down, and Paragon has to be very careful about this excited Jinx. Shaminian and PBS continuing to dish out the damage in the mid lane. Nips is going to fall on down for no trade from the side of Wash Players United. Are just giving up a little bit back over towards Team Ambition Prime. We're in the mid-game fully now. Everybody's roaming around outside of their assigned lanes, and the result is that TA Prime are finding themselves angles to get picks here. Nuggets appears to be DC'd. They're gonna have to pause here probably pretty soon, but too little too late. Nuggets going to end up going on down.
Yeah, it's just a little unfortunate there. Yeah, there is the lead in the game again, and yeah, I'm assuming a pause will come in soon, but he has reconnected. So, yeah, unfortunately, you know, college internet can be great. It can be pretty bad, and unfortunately, he's just suffering a little bit of the bad. But
yeah, certainly here is Reform Top and Jokic going to go out in the top lane once again. Reform Top, though, has the Undying Rage back up. He's able to 1v1 this Tryndamere. Or this Gangplank, rather. You gotta get... I'm very surprised that Jokic hasn't gone even for the Ninja Tabby. Feels like something you really need facing off up against this Tryndamere in the side lane. And, you know, takes a whole boatload of damage. Can't survive for very long. And goes on down there in the one-on-one.
I mean, you should, but with the build there, he's going with the Prowler's Claw. Doesn't it require to have the Lucidity boots? So you could pop off a little bit more with being able to have that little bit more ability haste, be able to have the summoners, you know, come down that a little bit more. I thought that's kind of why you go for that, but again, could be something.
Paragon sees an opportunity there, lands the Deadly Flourish once again, is going to one-shot PBS here. He tries to throw down the Encore, can't even get it channeled in time. Will fall on down, and now with that mid laner down, they don't really care what Jokic's status is, although he's already back up. He's teleported down to join the fight. They're looking to lock down onto Bad. That's going to be a big hook. Landed there onto Shaminian. Shaminian a little bit too far up, going to flash away, but he's just heading into the enemy team's jungle. Paragon goes legendary as he takes out the support there with the curtain call, going to turn that into a kill onto Shaminian as well. Nuggets leaves the game again. This is the time that we pause after the fight is already over. Not while Hecarim's getting killed 1 versus 4, but it's alright, it's okay, we're back in the game, the pause is over once again, we're getting the screen freeze, but surely this is going to be Dragon Soul going over to the side of Wash Players United, but Bad, he's still lurking in the walls. He could come back out here and finish off this Dragon.
Yeah, ideally that's what he's going to do, is hopefully stay in the wall long enough so he can go over and steal that Drake away, but I think unfortunately with the way that Wash Players have been playing here, it might not go towards them. Ooh.
Big dragon flip here. They're trying to mark Bad. The Hex Flash getting channeled over. It's Reform Top spinning into the middle of the pit. There's Bad trying to finish off the dragon. Not going to win the smite fight. That's Infernal Soul for Wash Players United. Bad going to come out of the Umbral Chest Pass. Going to immediately get taken down. And now Reform Top is getting chased across the map. Paragon and Alex want to make this collapse happen. The taunt doesn't land, though. A little bit too slippery on the Tryndamere. But finally, it is going to be another Deadly Flourish from Paragon to lock on down that top laner to get himself his 10th kill, to take the Dragon Soul, and Wash Players United fully in the driver's seat here, going to be looking to run away with this game. Nuggets getting a little lockdown down here by Respirit. The snare will come across, but he's got Alex here with him, and he's willing to take this fight farther. Going to force the flash there out of Respirit on a fight that he started. They will finally be able to back out away, unless the side of Team Ambition Prime decide they want more. They keep voluntarily taking these fights, and they are not coming out ahead for him. PVS takes a bunch of his HP there. The Infernal Soul Galio, so powerful.
Yeah, when you get the good old slaps coming out of him, but also just the wonderful kit that Galio has. It really just works well with this team. Like, again, he's able to roam very easily. He sticks onto whoever he needs to, gets onto them, gets a good taunt with the charge there as well. And yeah, it's just really unfortunate that you see TAs taking these trades that just, one, aren't going in their favor, but two, seem a little unnecessary at the moment. Just trying to figure out, like, okay, just get wards down. If you want to see where they're at, just get wards. Don't be taking and overcommitting like certain things. Like, you already know the mid turret's gonna go down. Like, why potentially commit a life over if you don't have to, kind of a thing. So
yeah, they're just trying to find themselves unfair fights and opportunities where they can, you know, get some shutdowns and get themselves back into the game. It's kind of what they have to do at this point. They're down 7, almost 8k gold. But yeah, definitely not working out here in these last couple of skirmishes. The Baron is in the eyes of Wash Players United. They're coming on in here. They're sleeping out the wards. They are trying to set down some of their own. Getting a couple of Gangplank barrels on down as well. Jokic definitely would be happy to get a nice thick barrel chain there onto multiple targets. Baron will be started on up. Alex pushing in the top lane will be able to join with the heroic entrance. Paragon throwing down the traps, trying to create himself a little bit of space. Is in turn to get stunned on, or spun on rather, by the side of Reform top. Will be able to slide out of there, but does end up going on down to the Super Mega Death Rocket. That's a big reset coming on through for Shaminian. Respirit has already fallen on down. Umbral Trespass going to save bad for just a little bit, but it just doesn't last long enough. And Jokic, finding his moment, has been losing in lane, but can show up in the team fights. Takes out Shaminian, now forcing PVS farther away. Alex is going to get that lockdown, going to force the flash over the wall, and this is going to be Baron going over for Wash Players United. They win the fight. They lose Paragon, but they take 3 kills for him.
Yeah, 3 kills, you burn the flash on the PVS, and you burn the Dying Rage on the Reform top. Ooh.
Oh, face check in here. Finds Alex. Alex wins. He's a lot stronger in the one-on-one in general, especially with his huge gold lead, his huge item lead, his Infernal Soul. He just one-shots PVS there pretty easily, and that's going to be Baron for Wash Players United 25 minutes into the game. So almost all over but the screaming, you gotta say, Gigatron. They've just gotta get themselves cracked open into the base. They haven't taken out a single inner turret yet, but they certainly have all the tools to do so.
Yeah, inner turret. I mean, bot side's pretty weak, I'll say that. But even then, they still haven't capitalized on using their Drake Soul efficiently, other than just having these team fights where, okay, yeah, now they fought for Baron, so hopefully they're able to push up here that a little bit more. But yeah, this is just, again, really good for TA that they were able to take out Paragon, so he does get a death on there. But again, the bounty gold's still really too high on him, and unless they're able to keep collecting on him, fortunately, we don't see a collector coming out from the team here, so I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
Just moving on through here with the Baron buff. They go in for the hook. They're willing to take any fight they can find now, and they find one onto bad. Goes in for the Umbral Trespass, trying to sustain on through. Gets a big shield from the Karma. Will actually be able to escape, but look at the damage from the Cannon Barrage. Turning it into 2 kills. Jokic and Alex get themselves 1 apiece. Reform top finishes a turn in the top lane, but he needs to get back, and he needs to get back fast as this Baron push is coming on through from the side of Wash Players United. They get themselves 2 kills. They get themselves set up here for the push in mid lane, and they're going to take themselves an inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, you get the inhib, which puts them that a little bit farther ahead. Super minions will be coming out. Look at Reform top just take a chunk of his health out there, and it's not even a 4 shot.
Yeah, just looking to finish off onto the base. They will take out at least 1 Nexus turret, but decide respawns are coming on through. Shaminion's going to be available to get the excited resets. They don't want to take these fights any longer. They don't want to push a little bit too far, so they are going to back away with their 11k gold lead. Jokic camping in the bush, doesn't land the barrel chain on anybody. Paragon should finish this recall. Another pause comes on across, but it does look like everybody from WPU is getting out alive.
Yeah, definitely going to be getting out alive here. I mean, it's just something that, hey, you know what? They're able to, again, just use their Baron efficiently. You get 2 turrets, you get a inhibitor out of it, and not only is it 2 turrets, you also get a 3rd turret by having that Nexus turret fall down, which I was expecting. I was thinking maybe they'll back off a little bit there just because people are coming up, but yeah, just really good job by Wash Players here just to be like, you know what? We realize this is going to work. Let's do it. And they're taking it with fashion. I mean, unfortunately, this is something that, you know what, you would have hoped that maybe they could have played through Shaminian or PVS, you know, besides Reform top, but not looking to be the case here. Again, just down a little too far here for Shaminian. It feels like, unfortunately, I'd go next. It'd be prepare for next game. But,
yeah, as
Jokic.
Pause ends here. Jokic getting a little lockdown down, trying to be cute with the Prowler's Claw. Will end up falling on down here, as that's a big shutdown picked up for PVS. We get another freeze frame, but Nips, I don't think he's getting out of this one. He's in a little bit of a 1 versus 5. He's got the knockup on Reform top. Doesn't have Flash, though. Does have the depth charge, but his team is so far away. Yeah, hopefully It's not a pause for them. So Alex, if he channels the ultimate here, would probably lose his life as well. He's not even going to use it. He's going to give over that kill here. As this is Elder Drake spawning in 20 seconds. Jokic and Nips not going to be available for it. This could be Elder Drake going over to Team Ambition as an overstep from Watch Players United gets seriously punished.
Exactly. I mean, hey, you know what? You lose where it really is going to help you out. You have a jungler who unfortunately keeps DCing way too much because, jank internet. And yeah, they're just able to kind of start this right now. Unfortunately, current call is a little shorter than it should be.
Yeah, firing it out here, trying to steal it. Looked like he almost got it, too. Slid that bullet through the tail, but not going to be able to last hit. It does go on over to Reformed top at the end of the day, as that's going to be Elder Dragon available now for Team Ambition Prime. Will be huge for them if they can take these fights. Will be huge in allowing this Tryndamere to potentially pop off and carry. I have to see if Watch Players United can manage to buy themselves enough time, though. One Nexus turret down and the mid inhibitor down as well. They have to play a little bit of base defense here. Can't be quite as aggressive as they might choose to be with the Elder Dragon.
I mean, they would love to be more aggressive, but I think they need to wait for them to come over, see if they can get a kill or two onto them, and not overextend anymore. Because you do have to realize there is a ward there in the base, so they could TP at any point if they really want to kind of do that good old base race, with Jokic. But I don't think he's got enough damage yet.
Yeah, Jokic stepping up, trying to clear away these waves. Big objective bounties, though, going over to the side of Team Ambition Prime as they finish off some of these turrets. Let's see if the fight does get taken. It's going to be a big use of that Baron buff, or that Elder buff, rather, to just try to turn into these turrets and these objective bounties. They've gained themselves multiple thousands of gold now just from being able to get those big objective bounties. They were behind by so much and have now pushed themselves back within 5,000 of the side of Watch Players United. See when the fight starts to break out here. Cannon Barrage is used to clear on out the wave to slow down the push to try to time out this Elder Dragon. And so far is doing it successfully. Elder is still available here. Will be falling off before too long, but they should be able to get one more push off.
Yeah, I think they're able to get one potentially here, but who's going to take the hits?
Yeah, throwing out through that curtain call. Bad. Feels comfortable tanking it. He's going to be able to regen at least a little bit, even though he hasn't necessarily built tank. As here, they're going to look to set up onto Respirit. Respirit goes pretty low here. Bad getting chunked out as well. Reform top spinning away. They are going to be able to pick up that middle inhibitor, but now Alex looking for the engage. Will he go for that flash taunt? Nips is coming on through. Nuggets is connected to the game. He's looking to charge on through here with that ghost. The Elder Dragon going to be falling off here very, very shortly. There's the turnaround. A big encore lands on multiple targets, but it's going to be the taunt in turn from Alex. He goes into the stasis as the lockdown is coming on through. Nuggets disconnects, though. He's running back to the base. That's going to turn around the fight. So big here for the side of Team Ambition Prime, and you hate to see it for Watch Players United, but TA Prime win the fight, turn it back in their favor, and might just be able to close out this game now.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate for Watch Players. This is their game to win, and now, unfortunately, it is a game to lose because you just have them sitting there in base. Unfortunately, you have Jokic very low right now, too, and this is something where they really need to kind of focus on these team fights of being like, hey, you know what? They have Elder. Let's just play careful. Let's just kind of dial back that little bit more. If they're able to do that, I think they're going to be okay. But until they do that, which unfortunately they have not, we're going to see that Elder still be alive, I think, for them for a little bit longer. But again, that's something that, TA is performing very well with this. They got a very good charm coming out there from PBS. They're able to, again, just line up and just get so many kills basically there for both between Reformed and PBS. So I think, hey, you know what? Get them back in the game a little bit more. They're trying as much as possible, even down with a deficit of not being able to get a Dragon Soul here or a Dragon this game. They're coming back in fashion. And unfortunately, do it to a DC.
Yeah, and this is the kind of analysis you hate to have to do, but it is the position that you're in. they really want to keep this pause going until they can be confident the Nuggets is going to be able to stay connected. Because if they don't want to lose the game right here, right now, they need that onslaught of shadows that didn't get to be used in the last fight so that they can dive through onto Shaminian. They should be able to just one-shot him with the help of that Infernal Soul and take him out of the fight. They could probably get onto PVS as well with all the damage that Jokic has. So it's not necessarily over, but Wash Players United, they're right up against the wall though. They have to make sure that they are not going to literally lose the game right here, right now, as 3 of their members are down and they're getting pushed on 4v2.
Yeah, I mean that's something that they really need to focus on. I don't know. Unfortunately, it's not a quick fix because can't fix someone's internet even much as you
Mm-hmm.
complain to a provider. It might give you a little bit better if they reset your modem router, but even that, it's just a little unfortunate. Yeah, I agree. Onslaught channels would definitely help in that fight if they had that, but um, again, with the fact that Nuggets is just unfortunately getting sabotaged or something here. I don't know. It's internet. It's just gonna be a little unfortunate, but we will be waiting just a little bit longer as they should be starting back up again shortly here because they don't want to waste too much of their pause timer here. But um, yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes. I really hope that Wash can have their full 5 so they can play through, but might not be the case here.
Oh, unpause has come on through. Nuggets is still hanging out in the fountain. I don't know if that's because he's disconnected or because he's just wanting to use the home guards for the bonus AD. Seems like he might be disconnected here. Jokic gonna go on in. He's trying to defend 1v4, and he's kind of doing it. Shaminian goes down solo, but Nuggets just is not here. And Team Ambition Prime, very unfortunate result for WPU here, but it is going to be capitalized on by TA Prime, and TA Prime will claim themselves game number 1 here.
Yeah, game number 1 goes to them very well. You have to look at, hey, um, it's just such a roller coaster of a game you watch there. Like Reform Top performed very well again into his lane and was doing very well in these team fights. It's just unfortunately didn't get to see him split as much as I would have liked, as well as it was just reliant on, okay, they're going to keep hitting us. We need to have you here. We need you to do this. We need you to do that. And once they kind of got Shaminian going a little bit more too, it kind of helped. But unfortunately, this one does go over. There was little other issues on the other side there for Wash players, but again, this was their game to lose.
Yeah, and this is the part where you look back on what stage of the tournament you're in, and realize if there's one part of the tournament where it's okay to drop games to external factors like this is probably one of the better parts. They've locked in a top seed in their group. They are already locked for the bracket stage of playoffs. This is going to hurt their opportunities to get some of those higher seeds a little bit if the series does end up swinging on that. But at the very least, they're still locked in for bracket stage no matter what happens to them here tonight. They're still playing next week to try to get a higher seed than they would have otherwise, no matter what happens here tonight. So still, certainly lots of room to play in for WPU. We'll see how they want to deal with this situation, if they can correct Nuggets' internet, or if they have a jungle substitute to bring in. We'll let you know as soon as we know, but we're going to throw it to a quick break here while we get into draft for game number 2. We'll see you in just a few short moments.
Everybody panic! Hold on. I'm about to say something really cool. 3, 41, 9, and lift off! No one dies screaming without me. I feel like I forgot to shoot something. You're starting to bore me. She's such a loser, always ready to cry. Da-da-da-da. Aw, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the Aegis Defenders League. We are here for Game 2 of Team Ambition Prime up against Washed Players United. Still going to be Team Ambition on the blue, going to be Washed Players on the red. A little unfortunate ending to game number 1 there. I love Nuggets just not being able to stay connected to the game, and therefore going to end up losing. We do have Zeisel in for the jungle position on Washed Players United, so they will be making a substitution here for that position coming into game number 2, so should resolve some of the pause issues we had. I said it at the end of the last game, and we were talking about it in between games. I really do unironically believe, if it's any condolence to WPU fans out there in the chat, this is the best place. If you had to lose a game due to disconnects or something like that you can't really control, this is the place that's probably best to do it. You know, in the Ionia group, there were 2 other teams that were 5-2. There were 2 other teams that were 5-2 in Ionia. So if you had lost games there, you might have missed out on your free pass into playoffs and had a worse seed even if you did make it. And obviously, you don't want to lose those games in the actual playoffs. So losing them, if you gotta lose them anywhere, losing them here, probably lowest stakes.
Exactly. I mean, hey, you know what? Like you said, better in play-ins where, you know what, you're still guaranteed pretty much to go on, and this is something that I still look at. That, I mean, again, Prime came out a little bit better this time around after the game cards started going into it a little bit more. Once they got the Elder Drake, they're having a little bit better fights. They were having a lot more things going towards them. But then you have to look at now it's Washed Players again coming out now with Jinx and the Hackerum compared to Kaisa.
Yeah, that Kaisa, recently buffed, has, in my opinion, been a little underpicked in a lot of these Aegis leagues that at least I've been casting for, and at least the games that I've gotten to see. I feel like Kaisa hasn't been valued quite as highly as she should be in these most recent buffs. I think she's very strong right now. Now going to be first picked by Team Ambition Prime, so somebody's listening to the rants going on inside my head, or they're independently arriving at the same conclusions. That's a choice for you to make for yourselves. But the Xin Zhao going to be locked in along with it here to face off up against this Hackerim, the Nautilus, likely going to join this Kaisa. That's an old school, tried and true duo. Really lets you set up for the ultimates really well, really trades well in lane together. They operate at similar ranges. They're pretty happy when they do get to be paired up like this.
Exactly. I mean, like, it's a great support to round out their team for Prime, while you get the counter back of Thresh there going with the Jinx. So again, still a good duo, but I would still heavily favor this Kaisa and Nautilus now, especially with those buffs going over to Kaisa now. But yeah, I don't know. I like the Aatrox ban again. Kind of sets up for the GP again for Washed Players if they want to use it, but I don't feel like they need to.
Yeah, Aatrox ban coming on through once again. Interesting that both top laners from last game have been taken off the board, so no GP, no Tryndamere coming on through. Means we're going to get a brand new top lane matchup for Reform Top and Jokic. So it's going to be top lane bans coming through from WPU's side. They know they're going to have to blind one role. Presumably, they're going to be blinding that top lane. It's what they blinded last time, and now they're banning top laners to try to guarantee that they're going to have an okay matchup. The Camille Aatrox makes me think they want to go for something like a Gnar, and, you know, Gnar would be certainly a fine choice here if they do end up going for it for Jokic. Meanwhile, mid lane bans for Team Ambition Prime.
Mid lane bans are perfectly fine. Zillion has been one of those pocket picks that people pick up lately that performs very well. You get that good Revivify, as well as you're able to, again, just stack bombs just to get that extra stun, extra damage out. Victor, again, same thing. Has a lot too, but Graves, okay, Graves top.
Yeah, it is going to be Graves top. That's an interesting one for me. I really expected a Gnar, given the bans that came on through, and you know what Jokic has played so far this season. I don't think, look at my little note sheet here, I don't think he's played Graves yet this season, so this is going to be a new one for WPU. But knowing that a lot of these top laners are banned away, and the Reform Top's pool is a little bit pinched, you know, most players don't really want to play the Gwen anymore, and now that it's been kind of nerfed away and doesn't have all the bonuses from Skip and Slash it used to have. They're going to lock the Irelia, though, This could be for mid or for top, but I guess it's for top. I mean, this is a matchup that we've seen picked in the LCS quite a few times and in other pro leagues. People like to take that Irelia into the graves, try to all in it, and end up winning out on that trade. Gonna be really skill intensive, though. We'll see how Reform Top is able to execute it. This is a Heimerdinger hover. Not gonna go on through, though. They will lock in the Vigar instead and break my poor little heart.
The Vigar, I think, still is a good pickup, especially if it's going to go into an EP, which it looks like here. And the Malzahar, maybe. Oh, wow. Maybe not, because he's going to get the extra shield coming out of him. But looks like they're just hovering over a lot of different things, waiting to figure out as they lock in the Malzahar here.
Locked in there. This is not the first Malzahar game for Alexer there. But it is interesting to see taken up against the Vigar. Usually, you know, you really want somebody that you can lock on down, going over aggressive. You know, I like the Malzahar into melees quite a bit. But, you know, it should be a good opportunity to at least lock down the Vigar here, if they do want to go for plays up against it. You know, really set up for Hecarim to come on through to get that gank successfully. Can always get that perfect devastating charge angle when Malzahar is using the Nether Grasp to hold him perfectly still.
Exactly. I mean, Nethergrass is just such a good ability that I hate it and I love it at the same time. It's Malzahar's kid. I love and despise at the same time just as much as Vigar's. That's where I do like the Irelia pickup. I think this could perform very well even into the graves here, and just kind of pop off because again, this is where Reform Top just has so many games on Irelia. He performs very well with it. He can get that lead that he needs to have, and this is where, you know what, if there's a game you need to really get a lead in, it's in now because of the fact that you won the game one, close out the game two here, and you know what, this could go definitely more into their favor.
Yeah, definitely has the opportunity to here. I like Team Ambition Prime's draft a lot. And, you know, they know that they have WPU on the back foot here a little bit. Certainly not going to be happy over on their side with how game number one went. And, you know, going to be a little test of their mental fortitude for how they're going to play coming into this game. And now, with a new jungler that they presumably have not practiced with too much, going to be very rough. To have to come in mid-series and try to make this adaptation, especially, you know, they're facing off against one of the toughest opponents they've had to play all season long, at least record-wise. You know, within their own group, there aren't too many teams that that could really step up and challenge them. That's why they were able to top it with only one series loss there. But Team Ambition Prime, you know, they're coming in for the other group. They're representing over in the... I'm forgetting what the divisions are called here. They are called... That is the wrong league. They are called Ionia and Freljord, representing the Ionia division here in the ADL. And, you know, they performed pretty well in game number one. You know, easy to meme on them as they got to play 5v4 for quite a bit. But, you know, they were making good picks to try to get themselves back into the game even before that. And they played out some of these fights pretty well, even when they were able to have Nuggets connected. Team Ambition Prime, they were able to play it close, and now have a serious opportunity to be able to close out this series and get themselves one of those super high seeds.
They could. I mean, this is just where they really need to rely on their skills here. Again, really good matchups, I think, for pretty much most of the side here for TA Prime, as they're able to, again, take a really good bot lane duo. You have the Irelia, who can pretty much just snowball and go crazy there. You have Badons and Zhao, which, again, early ganker should help out both at bot or top side there. Because I feel like, again, ganking that Malzahar not going to be as easy, even though you do have the Vigar stun there, as well as, you know, your 3 talent strike coming out from Bad. But we'll see which one he decides to choose in the game coming up.
We certainly will. We're going to throw it to a quick break here while we get loaded up onto the Rift for game number 2 between Team Ambition Prime and Washed Players United. We will be back and checking out every bit of that action as soon as we're able to. We'll see you in a few short minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the Aegis Defenders League Play-In Gauntlet, where Team Ambition Prime and Wash Players United are facing each other on the Rift once again. Team Ambition Prime getting themselves the win in game number 1 there. Now, Zazel coming on in. Zyzel? I just want to make sure I don't... I'm not talking about the old Cloud9 support, Cloud9 Evil Geniuses support. It is Zyzel coming in here in the jungle, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce it correctly. But regardless, very exciting now to see Wash Players United with a full 5-man squad. Maybe not the one that they would have wanted to start the night with, but at the very least should be avoiding the pause issues we had in game number 1 and should be getting a clean 5-on-5 match.
Yeah, I hope so this time around, as I get new jungler in. Unfortunately, when you have internet problems, sometimes you have to use that sub. But regardless, you have a 3-stack here going to invade.
Yeah, certainly here. That is going to be the push in from Bad Spirit and Shaminion coming on through here in that bottom lane for the delayed invade on Zyzel's blue buff. It looks like they're going to get it. They're not spotted. They're not contested. So this is going to be a great start for Bad here. Get kicked off with the opposing blue buff and set up for a potential 3 buff.
Definitely a potential 3 buff. I look at, he's definitely not going to know until it's probably too late. Ooh.
Oh, lockdown coming through here on to Nips. That's going to be Shaminion. Forced a little bit back though. Paragon getting good damage in there off the Jinx rockets. It's going to be on that top lane as well. Reform top on the Irelia. It would really pop off here in this matchup. We've seen people take a little lead on the Irelia, really take the 1v1 to the graves, kind of nullify some of the range lead he has with all the sustain she brings to the table. Spirit, though, to dodge away here. Level 2 is reached here for the bottom lane of WPU, but the fight is getting started anyway. Bad coming on in here for the surprise. First blood does go over to Paragon, but it is Bad who makes the trade in turn. Now they know that he has the red buff, so Zyzel sees a chance to cross over the river here and steal away a buff for himself. Should be able to equalize that at 2 buffs to 2, and first blood going over to the bot lane for Paragon.
Yeah, just great job there by Paragon. I mean, still able to just keep shooting more and more and more, and was able to get that first blood even though he's training his life over. Will be slightly ahead with that gold there. So, but yeah, I mean, this is get really good. You really want to get Paragon going early and hard, because if you don't, you're going to have the Goon Squad here come in.
For sure, there's the lockdown coming through onto Alex here. He's going to be forced to flash away, but that's a nice dredge line. Threading the needle there, getting it around the wall, but the hook comes through the bottom lane onto Shaminion. He's going to end up going down here as well. Flashes away, trying to stay alive. Nice tanking of the turret there by Nips. Will guarantee this goes through. Paragon at risk there as he takes one more turret shot, but they do manage to pick up that 2v1 kill under the opposing turret, and now we'll be backing on away.
Yeah, I mean, Ray Engage again going into the mid lane there, capitalizing on Alex R as he is having pretty much no mana and not really able to respond too much other than just a flash. But again, great dredge line that Spirit had there. I mean, this is something that we definitely talked about. It's going to be very exciting to watch both him and Shaminion there with the Kaisa. But yeah, again, just great job by Paragon and Nips to just realize, hey, you can take this advantage of knowing that she doesn't really have any backup because they're all in mid, and you can get that win there. So great job of them.
For sure here, Reform top, trying to farm it on up. Here comes Bad for an early gank here onto Jokic. A lot of damage comes through on Reform top. Jokic just going to try to buy himself a little bit of time, flashes another turret, but Reform top blocking with the minions, stopping him from being able to get those last couple of blasts in, and now Jokic taking a long run away. They are calling over PVS, and Reform top will end up getting the solo kill at the end of the day. That's the start you're hoping for on this Irelia matchup, though. You want to get ahead of Graves in items so you could take him in this one-on-one, and that's going to be a great start for it for Reform top. He gets this whole big wave that's crashing in, and he gets the kill goal.
Yeah, I mean, he was already about 10 CS there, and then now he's getting the wave. He already now will be in such a better standpoint, but PBS is going to spot out that they're on the Drake here.
Yeah, big avoid there by PBS, but he is now getting collapsed on by Alexer. Alex not going to have access to that Nether Grasp quite yet, though. Nips steps on forward, procs the Aftershock to get tanky. It's going to be the Dragon going on down there. Ends up slain by Paragon. Zeisel very low on HP. They're trying to clean up a couple of kills here, but they can't get the lockdown onto anybody. Will end up just being a clean escape for Wash Players United as they get themselves the Dragon.
Able to get that dragon there, which really put them into a better spot that once they were able to, they kind of realized, you know what, we're getting, see, I can't talk, bad down here, so hopefully they can just rely on the early smites and, you know, just last hit with Jinx, and again, that's what they did. They were able to still kind of get out, get to the point of, all right, you know what, we're playing through me. He gets the call early just because he knows, again, this is going to be a very long farming lane, as you know, he is behind that little bit more there compared to the Kaisa. So again, yeah, this is just a whole different game from the game one there.
Yeah, definitely is. Definitely does end up favoring Team Ambition Prime here a little bit early on. They've got the leads in the lanes where they want them. And even in the bottom lane where the lead is in Paragon's favor, the CS is keeping Shaminian competitive here. He's not falling massively behind in items or anything like that. And Paragon stopping off for the Cull does mean that combat power-wise, he's not going to be too far behind, at least in for Shaminian for a little while here. Going to continue to farm up in this bottom lane and hopefully be able to come out and support this Vigar and this Irelia later on in the game.
Exactly. I mean, hey, like you talked about, the Reform top gets ahead. Like, man, look at him. Oh, what?
Well, all right then. So that's going to be a little bit of a reset coming on through there, but nonetheless, as the out Reform top sees his opportunity here, doesn't manage to land the stun, is just going to back away here. Jokic now sees an opportunity to go for an aggressive trade, but this is a lot of stacks on the Irelia passive. He might look to keep this play going. Doesn't have the ultimate, but does he even need it here? He still has one more dash to come on through, throws it on out, and is going to be able to pick up that solo kill up against Jokic. Reform top popping off here in game number 2.
Yeah, this is where, I mean, as anyone knows, when you're playing solo queue, you never want to go against Irelia. Oh, bad.
Zeisel is going to be engaged on here. Bad gets engaged on as well, but he's just going to turn it back on around. It's going to be Shaminian picking up that kill, and now the knockout coming through onto Nips. Nips going to fall on down tier. That's going to be Spirit over the wall. Paragon almost finishing off on a Bad, but not quite getting that last bit of damage on through. Now Paragon firing the zap over the wall, gets blocked by Shaminian. Huge play in the bottom lane by Team Ambition Prime as they move up to 2k gold in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're just able to, again, get a kill on a Zeisel there, that solo kill on the Jokic. Yeah, this is just really kind of amping them up that little bit more. And again, like I was saying, like, and I really, you never want her really getting too far ahead, because that just means once she snowballs, she just commands the game. And this could definitely be happening here soon. But Jokic, uh-oh.
Yeah, that is going to be the hook coming on through, but not going to land. They did have to throw it out there blind as he was in the smoke screen. Spirit will escape here and will be, Spirit will allow Jokic to escape. Will not be able to lock him on down, and Jokic will be able to hide back out in that top lane, continue to farm it on up. He's having a tough time, though, as Alexander getting chased on down, getting picked on up bad. Goes on a killing spree. Shaminian gets a nice collapse in there. Is losing waves to the bottom lane, but in turn for getting that kill, will certainly take it.
No one's seeing my facial reactions, but I'm just like, oh my god, he just got brutalized there. For Alexander there, and man, I mean, you have to look at, it's just one of those times where, again, you'll want to go get wards, you want to go spot out where the jungler is, but when you have a Kaisa who can definitely use Killer Instinct to get in there pretty easy, it's a little ogre for them. But Reform top, gonna get dove on maybe.
Jokic coming on through here. Now, Reform Top going to land the stun. Can he try to get himself out of here, though? Goes in for the dash, gets the first reset, throws down the ultimate, trying to sustain on through this, trying to make it into a one-on-one. That is going to be a great flash away. Gets the distance there with one more Blade Surge and will be able to flash out back into the river. Not going to get hit by that Super Mega Death Rocket instead. Bad! Dominating under the turret there, keeping the fight going. Jokic going to fall as well as PVS flashes on in, throws down the event horizon and picks himself up a kill as well. And Team Ambition Prime executing, firing on all cylinders across the map here, get themselves 2 or 3 more.
Exactly. I mean, they look at it like, hey, you know what? We could get something definitely up here. The fact that, again, Reform Top was able just to survive just through the 1v2 there was just crazy. And then the fact that Bad, even though wasn't able to quite get onto, joke.
It's going to be the Reformed Top engaging forward on to Alex, and Alex just a little bit too far up. Reformed goes on a killing spree, dashes through the minion wave, picks up another kill there, and this Irelia is just unstoppable. They cannot deal with this problem in the top lane, and meanwhile, Bad, he's a problem in his own right, and is going to be able to pick up this dragon.
Yeah, I mean, this is where, hey, you know what? They are using their advantage very well, getting one, again, Reform Top ahead. He does have now Blade of the Rune King and the Steel Cap, so yeah, he's going to be able to definitely fight against Jokic here. No problem once he gets the stacks going, but yeah, this is where he really needs to worry about himself and hope that he doesn't overcommit too much here. But again, we have to look at, there's a big difference too. We do see Zazel. Ooh.
Yeah, so Zazel coming on through here. PVS going to get hooked on in. That's going to be the shutdown coming on through here for Alex. And now can Respirit manage to get himself out of dodge? Looks like the answer is no. Zazel going to finish off that kill up against the Nautilus. Going to be able to get himself on the board for the first time this game. It's going to be Wash Players United striking back here. But Reform Top, you still got to figure out an answer to. And so far they've not been able to. He dashes back on through. He dodges the collateral damage. Popping off against Jokic here, who just looks unable to do anything. Is Bad coming on through here, knows that Zazel is going to look to make a response to the top lane, and this is a prime opportunity for him to collapse. Gets a good trade here, is trying to chase on through, but is about to find Nips and Alex coming in for the chase. Throws on out, the wind becomes lightning, gets the engage, and is just continuing to take the fight. Throws on down the Crescent Guard, finishes off the kill on a Nips. Now here comes Respirit, here comes Reformed Top. Bad sustains through it with his Gore Drinker heal. Reformed Top goes on a rampage. 2 more kills for Team Ambition Prime.
Team Ambition is just coming out commandingly with this game. They're like, you know what? We had a decent game 1. Let's ride off of this high of still getting that game 1 win and just play to our strengths. And they definitely are here. PVS definitely being able to gank, has that good roam ability because of the Predator there, as well as, again, Reform Top is just getting so far ahead. It's not even funny. And Bad is making really good plays right now.
Yeah, Bad and Reform Top both can't be stopped this game. Sitting at 4-0 and 5-0 respectively. Siege coming through in the mid lane. Rift Herald gets thrown on down. Going to be charging on through here to get a couple of plates as well. 3k gold in at the lead, and Jokic is just getting dove once again here. The ultimate comes on down. Reform Top gets himself another kill, forces Jokic down to 0-4. Spirit pops the stopwatch. More turret plates being funneled into this Irelia. It's a very, very tough situation now for Wash Players United. They've got so many questions to answer and not many answers to give to them.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing you have to look at is, what is Wash Players going to do now? Because they are very far behind.
Yeah, Bad getting locked down here, but he gets the ultimate across in time. That's going to nullify a whole bunch of the damage he was going to take. He sustains back up with the Gore Drinker. PVS arrives and just one-shots onto Zazel. Now it's Respirit tanking all the damage. He's so big on this Nautilus. Over the wall goes Shaminian with a killer instinct to pick up another one. 3 kills for 0 in the bottom lane for Team Ambition Prime. They execute better on the fights. They show that, you know, they fight back in game number 1. No fluke here. They are more than capable of tussling in the 5-on-5s as well. and they have a fantastic early game to show for it. 16-4, exponentially ahead of their opponents.
Yeah, they are going very, very far ahead. I mean, you look at two 1-1 Drakes. You got the Rift Herald already. You have the extra turret down compared to them right now too. So this is why Bonnie Gold is shifting over towards, again, Wash players. But you have to look at like PBS, like a whole different game here. Again, able to kind of command, get those stacks going for himself. We do see that Shaminian playing Kaisa, who again just feels like it's a breath of new life compared to the Jinx that first time around, just because they're able to again capitalize on a lot with having Respirit on the Nautilus here.
Yeah, definitely here. The Nautilus doing a lot of work to keep these targets locked on down, and Bad has had some fantastic ultimates, has had some fantastic engages, has put himself in all of the right positions, and now has just been able to leave Reformed top on an island in the top lane, although Reformed maybe going to start emerging out a little bit, just dashes through the Voidlings, gets a little bit of healing, gets a little bit of resets, and now is this menace that nobody can deal with, but Bad is super strong as well. Has gotten his bot and mid lanes at least solidly ahead, and now there's no answers for them anywhere here. They're going to try to commit multiple members towards this top side, but look to see what Team Ambition Prime responds to in the bottom lane. They're already pushing into that river. They're already pushing into the jungle. Reform top getting engaged on here. Going to try to stay alive. Does get all the ultimates thrown up against him, though. He will end up getting shut down, and he will give Jokic that gold.
Yeah, that's where I figured the Nether Grasp was going to be a big issue for Reform top there, because you have that going on you. Onslaught Shadows plus collateral damage is just way too much. But trade-off is you get a bot turret, you get a Drake, and it's going really well for them. I mean, hey, you know what? All outer turrets are down there now for Wash players, so this means then that TA is going to be doing whatever they can to try to keep this lead going. They're doing it fairly well. It's only 17 minutes in, and I mean, we look at it, there's a big difference here.
Yeah, Alex going to jump on over the wall. Objective bounty going to be claimed there on two fronts. Going to be a pretty big gold influx there for the side of Wash Players United. So they look to move the gold back within 3k, but Bad keeping the fight going is going to finish off on a Jokic, who did just reset his gold value, by the way. And now that's Predator Vigar flashing in, looking to finish off onto Alex. Alex staying alive here for just a few short moments, but Bad goes godlike as he dives back on in, claims that kill for himself.
Yeah, it's just really good job on just trying to, lock down Alex there, because again, he's one of those ones that they really need to worry about, just because of the fact that, again, it is the Malice Heart. Malice Heart can silence, can lock people down with another grasp there, can turn a fight pretty easily, and that's something where, hey, you know what, if you can just knock them out as much as possible, I love seeing it. So great job by TA there.
Formed top, continuing to rampage through this top lane, getting ganked once again here. See what he's able to do in the 1 versus 2. Couldn't succeed in the 1 versus 3. Now it's going to be a 1 versus 4. Throws down the ultimate, dashes on through. Now it's going to be the Hecarim ultimate thrown back on through. He goes into the stance to try to keep himself alive. Not going to be able to do it, though. Alex picks up that kill. Now going to be Reform top, getting punished here. He's staying up a little bit too far with not a lot of backup, and they're not really able to trade for anything across the map either. The remaining 4 members just moving into the top side jungle, but not really able to find any targets or any objectives.
Yeah, it's a whole different story now for the top side. Is like, you feel like you're overcommitting a little too much, when in reality it's just, hey, you know what, they see your fight, just make sure you play a little bit more passive. As much as it's hard to say that, just because of the fact that, again, you're an Aurelia who's fed.
Yeah, absolutely here. Now, mid lane siege coming on through here. They want Team Ambition Prime be able to keep moving on forward, to keep making plays happen, but so far it's been stalled for a little bit here, and now that they got Reformed top in the bottom lane, Jokic has an opportunity to really kind of push on up here and to really try to exert some influence Will get a wave crashed in, but then it's going to be forced to back away as he knows he's at risk of getting collapsed upon. And the full reset comes on through for everybody on WPU.
Reset. I mean, you know what? They definitely need to. They got to get more items for themselves here, just because of the fact that, hey, they're again dealing with a very fat Irelia. You have Bad, who's just being a bad boy and just getting so far ahead right now. Is just able to, again, just capitalize on as many ganks as possible and get his team going pretty early. So I think that's where they need to realize, hey, we need to change up our tactics, try to see if we can go after, Bad, but get into that range, because the Crescent Guard has just been so helpful for him this game.
Definitely does here, as Crescent Guard has gotten him out of a lot of sticky situations. Thinking back to that Nether Grasp in the bottom lane, where he was able to get it on off before that ultimate came on through, nullified all the damage from the Malzahar, nullified a bunch of damage from Paragon as well. Really allowed him to survive through that fight and turn it into the 3-for-0 for TA that it was. Be hoping to make more plays like that as they're looking to set up around this Baron. Dragon not up for 45 more seconds. See what they're able to get done here. Setting up a very nice series of visions. Going to be able to push up this mid lane as well. Now it looks like the Dragon is their favorite objective here. They want to get themselves on Soul Point. They know that this Rift Scuttler is spawning here pretty soon. So they're going to lay down that vision. They're going to look to maybe make a pick as it gets started. Teleport being channeled by PVS, but he might be up a little bit far. Going to be able to back away in time. Throws down the Event Horizon to try to block the invade from Wash Players United. They're not going to be able to get on in through this ramp. PVS throwing on down these stuns, making it very difficult to play the game as their groups get segmented on apart there by that gigantic Vigar cage.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing they really have to worry about is just, like, Vigar sets up very well with their team. Like, he could just get a really good cage, just sets up, a nice stun, primordial burst, and we do see the Jinx record goes a little wide.
Gigatron, have you seen that clip on Reddit today of Sneaky on the Kai'Sa two-shotting at Cho'Gath with Void Seekers?
No, but now
we're building towards that game state. Shaminian is the AP Kai'Sa. He just did so much damage to Zyzel there with the Void Seeker, and if he can just start chaining those together as we get into the later game, it is going to be very difficult to get anywhere when you're getting zoned off by these Vigar cages. You have to be worried about the engage from the Xin Zhao and the Nautilus, and you're getting these Void Seekers rain down on top of you for tons of damage. Very, very tough to play out, as this is going to be a collapse coming through onto Alex. He's got nowhere to go. He's going to flash out over the wall, but he's going to find himself face-to-face with Shaminian, who might also be up a little bit far, but nah, he just turns it around, one-shots Nips, and now the rest of the members of Wash Players going to be forced to back away.
Yeah, Watch Players need to go back at this point. Unfortunately, Nips, I mean, as much as he is still valuable to your team, it is, again, not a carry that you need to be worrying about, like Alex R or, Paragon. Paragon definitely is one of those ones that could potentially steal something away here. Look at that Void Seeker go out already. Oh, no.
Big lockdown there. Paragon going to flash on over that stun, but he's going to leave the rest of his team out to dry. Cleanse from the QSS to just keep the fight going there at Foreign Top. Gets himself a double kill. They chase on down Paragon on the other side. They're able to finish him off as well. They get themselves the Baron. They're on Soul Point. They're resetting to spend some of this money, and Team Ambition Prime looking so far ahead in this game, looking like they might be able to complete the 2-0.
Yeah, I feel like they could, definitely, because they got that lead, again, going on Performed and Bad. Bad playing a whole different game here. Same thing with PVS and Shaminian. This is just such more refreshing game compared to the game one, and yeah, like you said, the Kai'Sa getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I would love to see the game state get to that point, but I also don't, just because she's definitely, like you said, could just be two-shotting people. It's gonna be crazy to see.
And for sure here, Shaminian keeps pushing on up along with Bad Spirit. Over here, going to find Jokic, continuing to lay down that vision, continuing to make sure they're not going to get flanked, and that they are going to get that 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 or 4-on-5, whatever fight they're looking for, on completely even terms, and not going to be surprised at all. hugging the top side now. There's going to be the lockdown coming on through onto this Vigar. He just gets one shot. Shutdown comes on through. The teleport now being channeled by Reform top. They're willing to take this fight anyway. They feel like they're far enough ahead. Xyzel gets taken incredibly low, going to have to back away, and now Respirit flashes on away. The engage coming on through from Jokic. Here comes the re-engage, though, from the side of Bad. He throws on down that ultimate. He regens with the Gore Drinker, and he turns it around with the help of Shaminian and Reformed. Reformed is too strong on the Irelia. He's going to claim himself a triple kill as he demolishes the fight. Xyzel, chunked out low at the beginning, is going to be the last one standing, and this could be the end of the game, Gigatron. Ultimate still available for Reformed top, finishing the ace, getting the unofficial Quadra, and Team Ambition Prime about to close on out this game 2-0.
Yeah, such a commanding game here. It's like I said earlier on. Like, you get that Irelia ahead, it's just so hard to come back from, just because of the fact that, again, she's just able to do so much. She was 1v2ing G, and at that point almost like was able to do a 1v3 or 1v4, no problem, and you gotta love it just because of the fact that, hey, it doesn't take long to get a lead, but you're able to just command with the lead and do so much. And again, I have to give it off to Bad too. Bad played very well, able to get a lot of ganks going. You got 3 Drakes for yourselves. You did get the Baron. You did get a Rift Herald too. Like, you're definitely playing that economy that you need to be playing as a jungler, and you just gotta love it when, you know, a team can just kind of come through right here. So great job by TA Prime.
Yeah, Bad and Reformed top really coming up huge in this game too. Reformed top, especially on that Irelia, is able to get ahead, using some good early ganks from Bad, ends up getting that first kill gold, and from there on out, just keeps taking fights and keeps winning them. You know, that's what you want to do on some of these Irelia counter matchups. You get the tiniest little advantages, and you just use that to explode the lead in your favor, and he played that out perfectly. Just continued to demolish Jokic. Ended up getting ganked a couple of times, but by then he was already far too far ahead. Jokic was completely shut down, and Reform top was all prepared to carry through the rest of the game.
Exactly. He realized, he's like, you know what? I need a Quicksilver Sash, so that way I can get out of that CC that a little bit easier, because you're looking at, again, it's that Malzahar tax that some people unfortunately have to pick up. But again, just really great game from TA Prime there, able to, again, show why they are definitely up there to be contending for that top spot, and I would love to see how seeding goes for them.
Yeah, I mean, this guarantees them a top 2 seed. They're going to play against the winner of Moners and Team Ambition Exodia next week to determine who's going to be, who's going to end up being that first seed total. But either way, though, they've locked themselves in a top 2 seed. They've locked themselves in to a very favorable start once that bracket stage starts. It's going to be very well set up for them to try to make a deep run here. You could argue that WPU weren't able to play at full strength, but, Team Ambition Prime, they seize on the opportunity, and they get themselves a fantastic win here tonight.
Okay. What if we get a TAP versus TAE next week? How crazy would that be that, like, both Ambition teams are going against each other?
They've been vocal that they want a TA versus TA final. I know they've said that to us in interviews we've had with them previously. So, getting it early on would be something I'm sure they'd be happy about. And to be fair, it would also guarantee, if it is TA versus TA in that series, that means they're on opposite sides of the bracket. That means they are optimized to be able to have the TA versus TA final.
Exactly, too. And that's where I don't want to spoil, but I'm going to do it anyways. They are up 1-0 already on to Moners. So, yeah, going to be real exciting to see. I mean, they're up like 1.6K right now. So, we could possibly see it next week. So, I'll be real excited for that. But yeah, I mean, again, Prime, I just have to look at, again, PVS worked well tonight for seeing him for the first time in the mid lane instead of the bot lane there. Shaminian, struggled the first game, but who didn't at that point? So, but it's going to be great to talk about the second game here.
All right, and we do have, okay, this is Reformed top. I figured it out. We are joined by Reformed Top here tonight. Didn't wanna dox your Discord ID there, my man, but
Don't worry
yeah,
about it.
I got it here in my ADL official sheet. Uh, Welcome onto the stream. Congratulations on a big win here tonight, especially big Irelia game in game two. What led to the decision to lock in the Irelia here after having played the Tryndamere into Gangplank matchup in game number one? How did you guys change up your game plan and end up deciding to go for the counter pick there up against the Graves?
So first of all, thank you for having me. What really led to the Aurelia pick was that we wanted a pick that could really function well into the Graves, mostly because the rest of our team comp was looking very good. We drafted a somewhat similar comp in terms of style to our comp in game one. So we wanted to make sure that our top lane pick could really go toe to toe, sort of like we did last game with the Tryndamere. However, the Aurelia was going to be a bit slower. In game one, we really made a lot of mistakes early as a team. So we wanted to pick a champion that would have to play slow early so that we could make sure that, like, come level 6, Aurelia can make sure that she can really do plays. So we wanted to sort of slow down the pace of the game because we rushed a lot in game one, and I think that's what caused us to lose. So it worked out game two.
Yeah, game two. I mean, this was crazy. I mean, we have to look at like you were able to like 1v2 and get out, and then you had the support of Bad just to be able to go in there and take out Zyzel, and then the fact that he had PVS still running up there like a mad little man that he is, and just able to lock down Jokic there. I mean, it was kind of crazy just watching that, and then the fact that they were able to scale very well, very easily, and it was always heartbreaking to see you go 1v3 and get locked down there by the Nether Grass, but then go 1v4. Yeah,
No.
we're not seeing it for a little bit, but
yeah, you can call it heartbreaking. I call it bad playing. I will admit that was just me turning my brain off. Not my proudest moments.
That definitely happens. I want to ask a little bit about Team Ambition Exodia. You guys were in different groups here. You guys both ended up finishing second in each of your respective groups. They are currently winning their series over on the other side of the bracket up against Moners, which would create a TA versus TA match here in the last week of the gauntlet. Is that something you guys are really looking to happen? Is it kind of a goal you guys have had? I know some have spoken on the TAE side about wanting a Team Ambition versus Team Ambition final. Do you guys scrim together? What's it like
yes,
having a
we
sister
have
team in the same competition, and how do you guys work together, and what are your goals as an organization as well as individual teams?
Yeah, so we have scrimmed together before. We've scrimmed together a couple of times. It's been very constructive, especially since we're playing to figure things out. It's great to have just a sister team that is around our skill level, which we can work together with. So I mean, yes, we were looking to play them in finals, but it might still happen at the very least. But it would be wonderful to get to play them next week, and I'm sure that if we do get to play them next week, that we're going to be taking it seriously, like an actual match, not just like a scrim. We're playing to win. Both of us are. Both teams are. So I think that's going to be amazing, and I'm very much looking forward to it if it happens.
It's a formality to ask, but who's going to win if you guys play each other?
Oh well. In terms of scrim results with our current setup, we haven't really lost yet. So
all right, good to hear.
I wasn't going to spoil that because I know that.
You are on the TA payroll, Gigatron. How do you have all this insider information?
I have more access than I probably should. Let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, this is right. I really do like to see you guys do well. I mean, obviously, I work with PBS and other stuff too, and like it's really good and kind of refreshing to not actually see him in bot lane too. That you guys have picked up Shaminian, that you have him playing in that mid lane too. So it's really nice that as much as your roster has changed a little bit throughout the season, you're able to still keep a very good lead going.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we were a little bit we got jumped a little bit with this week's games. We hadn't had too much time to practice with the Shaminian. I think that the kinks with our team will really be worked out a lot over the next week or so, in time for our match next week. And I think that we can still keep improving. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing it. Before we close out the stream for the night, anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to say to those in Twitch chat listening in for the interview, sticking around to hear what you have to say?
Uh-huh. Thanks for sticking around. I do want to shout out my jungler, Bad. Uh, game one, he was like really keeping it together well, even though the game was not going well. It was very nice just to hear that, and make sure that even if we're not really getting smacked. I mean, I do think that we didn't really deserve to win, but it's unfortunate what happened. But it was good to have him there. In game two, he was menaced around the map, making a ton of plays on Xin. He did a lot, and I think he really did a good job against Azel. So I really want to shout him out.
Hey, awesome to hear. Well, thanks for joining us, Reformed Top. I really appreciate
Thank
hearing
you
what
for
you got
having
to
me.
say and looking forward to seeing more of your matches, especially now that you've locked in some of those favorable seeds going into the bracket stage. That's going to do it for tonight's broadcast of the Aegis Defenders League. We will be back next week as we continue the play-in gauntlet. We will also be back throughout the rest of this week with other Aegis leagues. But for tonight, that's going to do it. So from myself, Gigatron, and some Malcolm on production, thank you for tuning in and have yourselves a great night.